Hello, welcome to CEO Insights, the Living Organization podcast. My name is Vitaly Geyman. With me is Olivier S.E. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you, Vitaly.
We've been friends.
Courtois, by the way, is the exact expression.
Oh, thank you for we've been friends for like over 10 years. We just discovered we've been talking, and I wanted to give you a little bit of a pedestal for your new book. Now, Olivier was a leadership consultant for 30, 40 years globally. He was a director at Korn Ferry, most of you know, and he ran his own business for many years. Tell us a little bit about your book, your current book, and what it's about.
Sure. Well, basically, I thought, I felt I had something to give, and I wanted to capture it somewhere in a book. So I've basically taken very concrete experience and an empirical experience of more than 35 years of career and put him in a book around what I call the Seven Dysfunctions of Leaders, which is basically, leadership has a lot of opportunities. It offers a lot of development pathways, but it could also derail you if you don't pay attention, derail you as a person, but derail your business. And so I felt, let's share that experience and build that book as a self-coaching book. I'm not coming to teach and preach what you should do, but I'm raising 21 questions around the seven dysfunctions just to keep you aware of the potential danger.
Excellent. Just to briefly mention the seven dysfunctions so we get a landscape view of it.
Sure. So, one of the first dysfunction, and it's probably the basic one, but it's self-ignorance. So if you don't know yourself, you don't know why you make decisions, you don't know why you have those gut feelings, you don't know why you're going in one direction rather than the next, it's very difficult to be a great leader, right? So there is also the risk of isolation. You work in circles, in bubbles, you're focused, and then you don't see what's happening around. The risk of poor communication, the risk of what I call impaired vision, not being able to have a vision and to share it and to engage people with your vision. I've also seen dispersion, leaders that send their teams and their resources in all directions. Mistrust, not being able to build trust internally and with external stakeholders. And finally, what I call exhaustion. Exhaustion of your teams, of your organization, but also your own exhaustion. So you don't renew yourself and you don't rebuild the energy. So probably the list is not exhaustive, but I think I cover a lot of the situations I've observed in my career, or I've been a victim of myself sometimes, or I've been responsible for sometimes as well.
I can literally almost every one of them you said. I think I made all of those mistakes myself, so I can totally
I
vouch
made
for
them
that.
as well, right? Most probably, yeah, yeah, absolutely. So
Wonderful,
definitely.
Yeah. In the living organization framework we've been working on, we literally almost every one of them we done research on why that happens and how to address that. So why don't we take one of them, something close to your heart, give us an example of it so the audience can get a feel for it, and then apply the living organization methodology and some of your own wisdom to see what's the positive outcome, because all the risks and what are the solutions to that.
Well, of course, in more than 35 years, I've got millions of examples, right, that I've observed myself or that I've heard about. But I have maybe one which I call dispersion, because I think it's a classic one. You have a leader of a mid-sized company, extremely competent person, great experience, and that person, as a production company, they produce basically consumer goods, and what she does basically is that every time there's a new client, there's a new SKU, because they want to have a sample, something new, something cool. But then they multiply SKUs, and in the meantime, they equip themselves with new machines that are not equipped to produce small quantities, but to produce big series. So production is getting angry and nervous and is asking for less SKUs. So decision is made to reduce the SKUs. But then sales comes and said, hey, we have a new potential client. We need a new SKU. And then she said, well, sales has a priority. So yes, let's have that SKU. So these are basically contradictory orders. And when they're in the exco, they make a big decision. We need to reduce the SKUs and be more disciplined, but priorities to sales, which basically means we don't make any decision. And then the result down the line is that, 1 year later, people are getting crazy. People don't know what is the decision finally, right? So they even decided at some point in time, we're going to reduce SKUs by 30%. So product management is there, everybody is there, and they make the decision. But the next day, they made a decision to enter into 3 new markets where they need new SKUs to customize, to attract new customers. So it kills the decision of the day before, and nobody understands. And I think the CEO doesn't realize what she's doing, or at least is stuck in mental models that gets in the way. She wants to do good.
Absolutely. So we had very similar problem, almost exactly the same. I was a CEO coach to a company. I won't mention the company just for their privacy reason. We worked through that. Maybe can I suggest something? And this is how and maybe you, from your experience, you can see if it works with. What I recognized is it was a very sales-driven organization in my case. And so they kept pleasing the customer. And in fact, the CEO came from a sales background. And so the culture of organization is do whatever it takes to please the customer, which was great. They were getting new, but what it does is it puts pressure on the production and everybody else. And it's actually not a profitable exercise in the end because you keep reinventing the wheel, right? Now it's a culture. Well, I recognize it was a culture driven from very top. And it was imbalanced culture. We say customer service is great, yeah, but not if you take it to the nth degree like this. So what we sat down with a group, actually with a sales manager, with the CEO, the production manager, and we got them all together and guys, do you see what's happening here? They go, no, we don't see it. What we see is we're serving a customer. I go, no, you're killing your own organization by creating SKUs that are unprofitable, right? And they go, yes. And then they went on to do the next, on Monday, they started repeating that again. So it became an organizational habit, right? And we said, listen, if we keep continuing this, we will kill organization. We need to have a more balanced view. So actually, in this case, you know what we did? In this case, we could not do anything else but let go of the key person that was creating the problem and put in instead a much more kind of a balanced person. In the other case, I had the similar case. We actually, by getting together, we were able to align and they were able to self-reflect, which is one of your, and say, you know what, guys, we are killing our own company. We have to stop this. And they shifted the habit, but it's a habit. It's right. Don't you agree? It's an organizational habit that's skewed towards one side.
It's a habit, and it links to the first dysfunction, which is lack of self-awareness. You may be 60. I'm over 60, so I know what I'm talking about. You may be 60 and still be stuck in some patterns of thoughts. You may not know yourself. You may not know everything about yourself. And I think in this case, we had a very senior CEO, by the way, but probably a person that was not aware of, a person that had an image of her own identity that was not matching the reality. And she had an idea what a CEO should be doing,
right?
But it was not appropriate to her company that, by the way, had a great growth before. So she helped the company to grow, but suddenly now they had reached a transition where, although she'd been the facilitator of that growth until then, now she became the obstacle. And with a bit of realization and openness, you can change a lot. I agree with you. But it starts with acceptance and understanding. And then you come to the how can I cope with this? But first and foremost, it comes with acceptance. And we have a lot of beliefs about things, about ourselves, about others. Some beliefs are respectable because they're based on thorough experience. And even there, they can be challenged. But some beliefs are just based on very shallow waters. and you just have one or two experience, and it becomes something you absolutely believe about yourself, about the business, and sometimes those beliefs are absolutely inadequate, and nobody helps you to see what you see wrongly. So that's the purpose of hopefully this book, or any work we do, is to help people open their eyes.
Olivier, thank you so much. I mean, I can really feel the goodwill behind this book. I know you even told me before this interview you were almost going to do a little soft landing, but then this book brought you back to life to say, wait a minute, people need to hear this. It can help a lot of executives. So we thank you for coming back and giving us your wisdom.
Most welcome.
Yeah, the 35 years of. Well, we wish you good luck with the book, and for those of you, where did I find the book? When is it coming out?
It's coming out at the end of October. It's going to be on the bookshelves and on Amazon as well. So it's called The Seven Dysfunctions of Leaders. And so you should find them quite easily.
On Amazon. And your website again is oliviercourtois.com, right?
oliviercourtois.com is my personal website, but there as well you will find some links to the book. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. We'll look forward to having you again in the future, back on the show.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on the show, and yeah, looking forward to our next time and our next round.